I want to do a revisit of a subject I've done before. And I'm redoing it because a lot of people got on here and they're like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, he's an idiot, etc., etc. Well, a lot of people don't know that one of my big hobbies and expertise is in ballistics. And I'm not a professional at anything I do, but I've spent a whole lot of time studying ballistics. Probably more time than some professionals have. And what I did before was 45 ACP versus 357 Magnum. I gave my opinion on it, some statistical numbers, all that. And I gave, like I said, my opinion, and I said which one might be better. I'm going to do it again. Now here's 2 rounds. You can see the difference here, and lined up nose to nose perfectly. The difference between the size of the 357 Magnum and the 45 Auto. Lengthwise, 357 is longer. Here's 2 projectiles that are typical. 230 grain, 45 Auto, and a 125 grain 357 Magnum or 38 caliber bullet. So the main thing about 357 versus 45 Auto, right off the bat, what is the main thing that makes a difference between these 2 rounds, other than the obvious that one's a semi-automatic caliber and one is a revolver cartridge? Well, the main difference is that barrel length significantly affects one much more than the other. That's really what it comes down to. Now, the 357 is typically more powerful as far as energy goes, but the FBI one-shot stop statistics, and I know people have ridiculed me for that, saying that's garbage, what have you. Well, it's real numbers that have been collected by a pretty legitimate law enforcement agency. And even when you take an untrained person and you look at the numbers of a small and weak caliber going up to a very large or more powerful caliber, the numbers for one-shot stop go up, as they should. You know, you get a 22, it's lower than what a 45 is. So, anyways, according to the FBI, there's a couple of different loads and a couple of different gun configurations that will give 96% one-shot stop to both of these cartridges. And one would be a 230 grain bullet in a 5-inch barrel. The other would be a warm-loaded, full house load, 125 grain 357 Magnum out of a 4-inch or greater barrel. And that's what it really comes down to, is barrel length. 45 is not as affected so much by barrel length as the 357 Magnum. The 357 Magnum typically has a little bit more gunpowder in it. Not only that, but you see the bottom of the 357's bullet, there's not a lot of area there. 45's has a huge area. So whatever powder is exploded, you know, you have a little bit better chance of catching all of it with a bigger bore than you do a little bore. So because of that, you need to stretch the barrel out longer in order to get that full round's power. And I don't mean to talk in a condescending tone. I certainly don't mean to. That was unintentional. But that's really what it comes down to. Like if you compare a 230 grain round out of a Tommy gun, 18-inch barrel, something like that, depending on what a Tommy gun is. I think that might be a 16-inch barrel. But I've even looked up 18-inch barrels. There's very little difference between a 5-inch barrel out of a 1911 pistol and an 18-inch barrel. Very little difference. I mean, 800 and some odd feet per second versus high-end 800 and some odd feet per second. As where a 357 Magnum is greatly increased by a long barrel. You know, like a 4-inch revolver barrel or a 6-inch revolver barrel, you might get 1,500 feet per second. You're closer to 2,000 feet per second with an 18-inch barrel. So there's a huge increase of velocity with a long barrel. So what's my point here? Well, my point is a subcompact little 45. When you take a little subcompact 45 and you shoot around through it, you're losing a little bit of energy, but you're not losing a lot. You're not losing a lot off what the round was designed to be. You take a subcompact, or snub-nose revolver is the correct term for a 357 Magnum, a 2-inch barrel instead of a 4 to 6-inch barrel. You're completely robbing its energy. You're chunking off at least a third of its energy right off the bat. It's a great reduction in velocity and energy. So that comes down to what would be better. Well, it depends. If you're going to get a little subcompact gun for carry, you want it real tiny, and you still want a lot of stopping power, your 45 is still going to be there. It's still going to be pretty close to what it would be out of a full-size 45. And if you use a plus P, you're bridging that gap. You can get the same 45 knockdown power out of a subcompact with a plus P than what you can with a standard pressure 45 out of a 5-inch 1911. You get a snub-nose revolver though, a little 2-inch barrel, you're not even going to come close. You're not going to have the energy of a 4 to a 6-inch barrel. Instead of 1,500 feet per second, you're going to get 1,200. You're robbed. You're robbed of energy immediately. And not only that, but the excessive blast is going to be hard to control. So, concealed carry, what's better for power, shootability? I would have to say the 45, you're going to get a little bit better with the 45. You try to put it in a gun as small as a subcompact 45, this 357, I mean, you're not going to have something that's enjoyable to shoot. You're not going to have as much power as you think you have. And accuracy, well, that's on you, because the snub-nose revolver is not easy to shoot. Now, if you're talking home defense, or you're talking carrying a 4-inch barrel 357 Magnum, things kind of change there. Because if you get at least a 4-inch barrel, that 357 pretty much comes to 95% of what you're getting on the box, what it says. You're still getting 500-600 foot-pounds of energy. You're still getting 96% one-shot stop capabilities with the right round. In 4 to 6-inch barrel, you cannot beat that. There is no way that 45 is going to compete with the 4 to 6-inch barrel 357 Magnum revolver. There's no way. But subcompacts lean the other way, in my opinion. But these are two great classic calibers, great rounds. I'm not trying to badmouth either of them. I'm just showing and explaining the limitations of them. You need barrel with this. You need a significant amount of barrel with this. This, you still need barrel, but you don't need as much to really be still effective. So that's what it really comes down to. The size of the gun, barrel length, etc. That's going to make a big difference between the two of these, what one would be so-called better. I'm not trying to do a competition here. Neither of them are better than the other. They're both great. They're great rounds, and they both have their uses. But you can't get a 357 Magnum and then get a little snub-nose with a 2-inch barrel and think you're walking around with 357 Magnum ballistics. You ain't going to have it. You're going to have something that's not really any more powerful than a 9mm, to tell you the truth. The bullet ain't much bigger. Actually, it's pretty much the same. Velocity really won't be much higher. And you're going to have to deal with more recoil. But you put it in the 4 to 6-inch barrel, well, yeah, you're doing a lot better than a 9mm when it's in that configuration. 45 though, you can put this anywhere and it's going to be pretty effective. So that's my opinion. That's my second go of my 45 versus 357 Magnum opinion. So hope you liked the video. Subscribe, thumbs up if you want, thumbs down if you want. So thanks for watching.